Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasiri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Sunday Bhagavad Gita program, discussion on different themes based on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Today the topic is Bhogi to Bhakta. In Bhagavad Gita we are taught about the modes of nature. Some of you have read Gita, you're familiar. We are taught about Traiguna, Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamogun. So these are three modes, three divisions of material nature. To explain what it is, I'll just give an analogy. What is Rajagun, Tamogun, Sattvagun? In other words, mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. If someone is sick, then he may be little sick, or quite sick, or very serious. If he's taken over by some viral infection, how much has infection come in? So similarly, someone may be infected by the material nature, little bit, that is sattva gun, not much contaminated. Or someone may be very much quite contaminated by material nature and he loses his spiritual consciousness. That is mode of passion, rajagun. Or someone may be seriously infected by material nature, by Maya. That is tamogun. Bhagavad Gita explains, somebody in that state does not understand the reality. He doesn't know, he mistakes religion for irreligion and vice versa. And he's basically mad. So these are the different levels of infection of material nature. This is something like an invisible force which is all-pervading and controls everything, but we cannot see it. An analogy is, for example, when you're in a country, we understand the government and the law is in control, but we cannot see them. But they are acting through different ways, cameras, police, etc. So everything is being maintained, but in a very distant way. So similarly, the modes of nature are all-pervading. Bhagavad Gita says in one verse, every single living entity in this creation is infected by the guna, triguna, the three modes of nature. It is a super force which is impelling us to act. There's a picture here. Now before the picture, let's look at the verse. Bhagavad Gita, this verse. Prakritik kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankar vimudatma kartahan iti manyate. So I was saying that we are impelled by the modes. Okay? This verse says, the spirit soul, bewildered by an influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. Bhagavad Gita has a very deep explanation about the modes of nature, but Srimad Bhagavatam goes deeper. We have to understand about the modes of nature because we are infected by that, isn't it? When you become sick, you first find out what is the sickness, how it's affecting, and then how to remove it. We have to understand about the modes of nature. For that, only Bhagavad Gita can help you practically. So, these modes of nature impel us, push us to do things. The word in English, impel means you're telling someone to do something he doesn't want, but he has to do it. You're pushing them to do it. So the modes of nature, they make us angry. People become angry. Later they regret. Why did they become angry? We're impelled by Rajagun to be angry. Sleepy, that's Tamogun. Sleep Lust, that is Rajagun. Increased sex desire, that is due to Rajagun. Hungry, depressed, even desire to travel. Let me go, let me leave this place and travel somewhere. That is also impelling. Why can't we sit peacefully in one place? Rajagun, contamination. Fighting, all sorts of things. When some desires come in our mind, we can understand the gunas are pushing. Do it, go. So the guna is what makes animal like a snake or a mouse. They have a certain mixture of guna that make it behave like that. Animals have each animal has a different mixture of guna. And among humans, us, we all have different mixtures of guna. So that makes us behave a certain way. That's what makes a cockroach enter the drain. You look in the drain, so many cockroaches are there. They like to go there. Why? That is their guna. They're comfortable there. So they're being pushed. It's what makes criminals attack people. Basically, it's what makes material life into material life. We are being pushed. We've been told, okay, sleep, eat, this material life. Okay, otherwise, we are all souls. We are souls. Jiva, souls, have nothing to do with this material world. We have nothing to do with this world. What are we doing here? What is the nature of the soul? To love God, to love Krishna, take part in His Leela. Some or other we are here and we are flying as birds or walking as human beings looking for burgers, or like a cockroach looking for stool. Because of the modes of nature, the pure spiritual consciousness of the soul is contaminated. So, it is therefore known as super. It is we say, there is a super power. Super means, of course, super, great. But super means something above the others. This is a superpower in the sense that it is beyond us in terms of power. The modes are powerful, we cannot avoid them. Other is perceptibility, we can't see them. The modes are above us, they are above. Therefore it says here that spirit soul is bewildered by false ego. He thinks himself the doer of activities, but they are carried out by the modes, material nature. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai. The second line, first word on the left, gunai karmani. So that is saying that through the guna, the karma is being done. So now this is what makes material life possible. Otherwise we will not do it, all these things that we are doing, but we are being pushed by material nature. Still we cannot see it or find it. Where is it? And so some people think it doesn't exist. But that's not an intelligent proposition, that I cannot see the modes, I don't believe them. Many things we cannot see. So Bhagavad Gita says in one verse, Krishna says, Daivi Esha Gunamai. This guna of mine is Daiva. Daiva means something like under the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's spiritual, it's transcendental. It is material, but the control is on a spiritual platform. So Krishna says, Daivi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya. Duratyaya means difficult, he's telling Arjuna. My material nature, which bewilders people, is difficult to overcome. You cannot overcome it. Duratyaya. And Daivi. Daivi means it's on a higher platform. It's not of the material world. It's a superior nature which we cannot find. So it's not that it's under Krishna. Krishna personally doesn't do anything, but he's delegated it to Durga Devi. She's controlling material nature, Durga. So our suffering is due to this force. Why do we suffer? Suffering is because of the modes. Atma doesn't suffer. Why should Atma suffer from material nature, which is inferior? So the soul is superior. But because of this force, it's like we have been tied. It's called Hirdaya Granthi. The soul has been tied to material nature by ahankar. Ahankar means wrong identification created by this guna. So we've been tied up and we cannot come free. And so now we are thinking that I'm the body and this because this mode has covered us. And the suffering is being caused, extreme physical and mental suffering comes from the modes of nature. Simply by becoming free from the modes, we become happy. Why is Maya acting on us? Maya is acting on us because we have desire. We have desire to enjoy in this world and the body. So Maya acts to cover us. Once someone asked Srila Prabhupada, why is Maya so strong? Immediately he said, why? Because your desire is strong. Your desire to enjoy in this world is strong. So Maya is even strong, coming and completely bewildering you and making you materialistic. In this creation, there are two types of living entities. Those who are liberated, I mentioned last time also, 2 weeks back. Liberated and conditioned souls. So, liberated souls means, well, let's look at bound. Conditioned or bound. They are bound and liberated. The ones which are bound. Bound means tied up, binding. Okay, now in all Indian languages, when we want to say Jiva in Maya, we say bound. You know, in Hindi we say Baddha Jiva. In Tamil we say Gatundatma. And that is more logic than English, condition. What does that mean? So, bound means we are bound by the ropes of guna. The material energy has binded us. We are not independent. We think we are free. Some people think, I don't want to follow religion. So many rules and regulations. I want to be free. Who's free? We're not free. When night comes, you must sleep. You cannot say, I will not sleep. You have to. The modes force you to sleep. Time comes to eat, you must eat. Eating, sleeping, even sex desire. These are products of the modes of nature. We are impelled, we are pushed, even we don't want. So the word in English Prabhupada uses is agitated. Agitate means you're peaceful, then something comes to disturb you. You have to act on it. So we are infected by modes. We are not independent. Even those who think, I will not follow so many rules, regulations of religion, but we must follow Maya. We must follow the modes. Jiva is not independent. But he can choose to be under Krishna's rules or Maya's rules. But by nature, the Jiva has to obey some force. In one purport, Prabhupada explains about this material nature. He says material nature is strong because just like a rope, you've seen ropes, they have many strands together, tied together to form one. So he said material nature is strong because 3 strands of the guna are there within it, acting together. It's like a rope. Actually, guna means rope also in Sanskrit. So the jivas who are bound up by these modes and they're being impelled to act according to their association of the past life. In the past life, we did certain activities and that was noted by material nature. So the next birth we're given a body which is having that nature. More angry, fast runner, or more inclined for study, or more inclined for management, or fighting, or sleeping. Depending on our past actions, everyone gets a certain body. Now we got this guna mixture and it's acting on us. We are bound up like puppets. Puppet. You see the picture? You know what a puppet is? Puppet on a string. You move it and then the string makes him move his hand, move his head, move the legs. This movement is by the person controlling it. So this picture, it comes in Bhagavad Gita of ISKCON to show how, you see there are two, one is a master, one is servant. But they're both under Maya. They're both under the guna. From past life, they had a desire, so they're born in a certain body, and then they're impelled that you wanted to behave like this. Now, okay, now do it. Behave like that. Due to the modes. So that is 2 types of jivas, bound and liberated. Liberated means they're not under the modes. They're independent. Not independent means, they're not being impelled to do anything. They're in their normal healthy state. So now, the modes tell us, as I mentioned, bound jiv, baddha jiv. Baddha means tied, we are tied. In a prison, you are tied with chains. Material world, we are tied by material desires. These desires bind us to this world and stop us from executing spiritual activities or applying ourselves fully in spiritual life. No, because I want this, I want this, I want to enjoy like that. So that is the rope tying us. It's called karma bandhana in Sanskrit. Karma bandhana. So now they tell, as I mentioned, I'll say, okay, now sleep, now eat, now run, now get depressed, now go for money, now get angry. Now stay up late playing video games, but I have exam tomorrow. Do it. Okay. You must do it. When the guna pushes, unless we are trained to ignore or to overcome it. But generally most people in this world, they are under the guna. They listen to it. So this is how Maya works. And we call it enjoyment. One of the greatest tricks of Maya is to make you suffer and think that you're enjoying. It's not enjoyment. After many births, we realize it. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Krishna said, after many births in this material world, the jiva starts to question what's going on here. What is this world? I'm not really feeling happy. I'm not feeling inspired. Also, this arrangement doesn't look like the reality. There's something beyond this. That means we become jnanavan. So Krishna says, Bahunam janmanam, after many births, after many births of going through these things, then some gyan comes, something is wrong, this is not right. I'm not really feeling happiness. And this activity I'm doing, I think it will give me happiness, but it's not. So we begin to search a higher truth, a higher reality. We perceive it, but we cannot see it. So we begin to search. That search is called Brahma Jigyasa, beginning of spiritual life. The powerful material energy is cheating most people in this world. They can't understand. Just like a dog is an animal. Animals cannot see beyond. They're programmed, eat and sleep and that's it. But humans aren't on that level. But in Kali Yuga, they've come to that level due to predominatingly powerful effect of Rajagun, Tamogun. That is the effect of Kali Yuga, Kali. So the modes of nature, we are saying, you see, they're all pervading. But how do they control us? Bhagavad Gita says, Indriyana manobuddhi asya adhisthana uchyate. These modes of nature reside in the mind, the senses, and the intelligence. They control. Why? Because that is the controlling center for us, isn't it? The mind comes up with ideas, intelligence makes it. So, the idea for enjoyment comes in the mind first. But how does the mind come up with ideas? It gathered information through the senses, seeing the material world. It got the idea, then makes the plan and tells intelligence, make a plan, let's enjoy it. Now, if intelligence is strong spiritually or has spiritual knowledge, he'll not listen. But if he doesn't, in most cases they don't have, so they'll say, okay. In this way, the intelligence, which is supposed to be higher than the mind and senses, becomes under the mind, because he doesn't know any better. So most people are impelled by their senses and their mind. Who knows this? Advertisers know this. Anything they want to sell, they'll put a woman. They want to sell a tire, they'll put a beautiful woman. They'll buy the tire. A woman has nothing to do with the tire. Anything, even a door. Or they want to sell a flat and they'll show someone very rich and popular. If you buy the flat, you'll become like that. People being impelled by mind and senses, they do things. They are psychologists who are expert at that. Even there's an art how they organize a supermarket. Most expensive things will be in the center. Cheaper things up or down. But what will you see first? Here. Then the lighting, and then there'll be a very nice sound, music coming to make you very comfortable. Air conditioner, okay, be comfortable, spend your money, don't worry, spend the money, buy everything. Psychologists are understanding this point. In everything, not only that. In different things, people understand, mass of people are driven by senses. This is how they can overthrow a country. Because people don't think. They'll see one or two messages and go wild and just follow the crowd. Generally speaking, people don't use intelligence on day to day. They're seeking how to satisfy senses and mind. So, Maya resides in the mind, intelligence and the senses. Because the intelligence is not strong or doesn't have direction, it comes under the mind. And the mind is where the all-pervading Maya has infected and is pushing us to do things. This is the nature of the living entity in this material world. We have to understand in Bhagavad Gita. I'm speaking in few minutes. But Bhagavad Gita explains in detail how we are conditioned and covered and we are under this material nature. If we understand, there's a verse in Gita saying, simply by understanding the modes of nature, they'll not act on you. You have to understand them properly. So these modes of nature, they are a problem for us. It's a problem. They cause our suffering. They cause a lot of suffering. They cause us to try to enjoy this world again and again. But what happens? When I do some act, any act I do, the act, the karma is recorded in the subtle body. It is analyzed. Was this action for Krishna? Or was it for your sense enjoyment? And what kind of sense enjoyment? The record is made. So that, because the next body has to be prepared. According to every action we do, the next body is being prepared right now. Just like someone goes to Gulf countries and starts working, earning money, sending money, then he's working there, they're putting one brick, another brick, building his house in India. He's building, making it big. Then he finishes the job and shifts in the house. Or maybe he'll stay there. Nowadays they don't come back. So in that way we are working, sending money, one brick, then cement, painting. So like here, I am doing actions, I am doing another action, my body is being built. What body? Crocodile body. This person is always in the water, lying next to the river, lying. Okay, crocodile body. Where? He likes to be in America. He wants to go, but he cannot have a human body. So he'll be a crocodile in America. And in this way, in this state, like that. Everything is being planned. Every action we do is recorded. And that is for the next body. So this is a problem, because every action we do to enjoy, another thing happens. The record is made. Another thing is that the modes become tighter. Has anyone seen how anaconda eats? Or python? Okay, so it goes round, curls, and then when you inhale, it crunches. Again you inhale. If it's strong, it will just crush you. If it cannot, it will stop you from exhaling. Then you'll die of suffocation. So as you inhale, it crushes. And you inhale again then you cannot exhale. Little by little by little. So in this way, every time we do a material action, the modes infect us more. Again we do, again. In this way, if someone lives a life of sense gratification, next life will be a lower birth. If we live a life of sacrifice, next birth is higher. Higher in terms of control senses, higher intelligence, etc. Born in a higher family. So, this is the problem of the modes. One, we do some sense enjoyment, it records it. Other is that it will build the next body. So one of the incarnations of Krishna, Rishabdev, says in Srimad Bhagavatam, his sons, he had 101 sons. So they grew up And it's recorded in 5th canto Bhagavatam. He made them all sit and gave them instructions. So he told them that Nunam pramata kurute vikarma yat indriya parnoti na sadhamani ata atmayam asanapi kleshada astadeha. He said if someone makes sense gratification aim of life, he will go mad trying to fulfill that. Pramada. Then he said one more thing. Na sadhamani yata atmano ayam asanapi asada kleshada. He says, I don't think it's wise that we have got this body which gives us so much suffering. Now we are doing material activities to get another body, the next birth. Once we realize, we should stop it. So, the modes of nature cause us to suffer and they capture us deeper and deeper the more we involve in this material world. Actually, we all took birth first as Brahma, Shastra says. Brahma is the topmost living entity in this creation. He has super intelligence. He has powers, supernatural powers. He is not far from spiritual consciousness. We all took that position, but we could have got liberated. But we became more involved. So we came lower birth, lower till we came to human form. But now, we are saying the problem is the modes of nature. But let's go back. Why are the modes capturing us? If we go back, we'll see that the modes have no adhikar to touch us, to infect us, unless we have desires to enjoy in this world. They are told, Durga Devi is told, don't attack them. If they're Vaishnavas, if they're devotees, in fact she's a devotee, her name is Vaishnavi. If one is a devotee, uses mind, body, intelligence in service of God, the Maya cannot touch. But as long as we think, make a plan for enjoyment, then Maya comes and covers and we forget everything, who we are. And not only that, but we are pushed again to enjoy. So, as I said, they asked Prabhupada, why is Maya so strong? Because your desire is strong. You strongly want to desire, to enjoy. So, Maya strongly catches you. You can't get out. So, it all comes down to our material desires. Why are the modes acting on us? Because these jivas, these means we, I'll say we jivas, are having desires to enjoy in the world. By nature we are soul. We are all souls. We have no material contamination. We are happy, we are eternal, and we have full knowledge of who we are, who is God. And we are absorbed in serving Krishna in Goloka, in Vaikuntha. But as Prabhupada says in one quote in Australia, in a conversation, he was speaking to someone. He says that the jiva has an inherent nature to want to be separate sometimes from God. But he should not act on that. When he acts on that, he goes separate, then he falls in this material world and gets in trouble. When he comes in here, then the modes capture him and confuse him. He forgets everything. So, as we know, as I was saying, that in chapter 3 in a purport, the first thing to get affected is the mind. Then the mind, senses under the mind, then senses come to be used for sense enjoyment. Then the mind tells intelligence, okay, make a plan, let's enjoy, make the plan, how are we going to do it? And intelligence does it. So, in this material world, people who live their lives listening to their mind and acting what the mind says. Let's get apartment on a gated community, let's get a car, let's enjoy, okay. Or let's go and settle in Dubai and whatever. Mind, we follow the mind. Or criminals, they also follow their mind. Everyone follows their mind, whatever the mind says. So these people are called Bhogis or Karmis. Bhog means enjoying, trying to enjoy material things. Actually the Bhogi is Krishna. He says in Gita, Bhoktaram Yugya Tapasam. Actually I am the supreme enjoyer. Bhoktaram. When we take that position of enjoyer, then modes attack us. So these people who try to enjoy this material world, they're called Bhogis. I'm saying these, but we are 99.9% of the population of this material world. That's why we came. We are Bhogis. So Bhogi is someone who tries to enjoy. Another word is karmi, because karma means doing an action for enjoying the fruit, the karma phal. I do something to enjoy the fruit. So that is the karma. So karmi, bhogi, these are the words reserved for them. They submit to the modes of nature. They submit that, okay, whatever shall I do? Do this, okay, do it, do this, do that, do it. They just follow. So practically everyone in this material world. And we think we're independent. I'm deciding to do this, I'm doing that, I want to change my job. Now I change my hairstyle, but it's not, we are souls, we want to serve God and be there. But because we are so much covered, we are given a body and we are acting differently. This is not our normal state, all of us. We are in a material consciousness now. We are simply listening to dictates. So we base our life and day-to-day decisions on what the mind is dictating. And the way of material life is, the longer we continue that life, the more we degrade and degrade. This is mentioned in chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, these jivas who dedicate to sense enjoyment, tanaham dvishata kruran samsareshu naradhaman. He said, I put such people in lower species, samsareshu naradhaman, in lower species of humans. And Prabhupada explains that in the jungle there are people who hunt with the arrows and eat raw meat. So gradually the jiva glides to lower. If they don't stop this glide. So the result is we lose our consciousness more and more and more. So it's dangerous because we cannot understand how it can affect our next life. So there are others who don't submit to the modes. Previously, the Vedic culture was that we are born and we are told, you see, this is material world, this is Maya, this is Guna, be careful, okay, follow Veda, follow Dharma, follow the samskars, do yajna, they'll follow that and be free from it. That was Vedic culture before. Generally speaking, people won't submit to these things. But now in absence of that, wholesale people have gone in this way. So when we are in this world like that, somehow or other, if we come in contact with a devotee or spiritual energy, how can we come in contact with spiritual energy? We may hear a kirtan, or we may meet a devotee, or we may even see a devotee. People can get the seed of bhakti by seeing. Or a great Harinama Sankirtan was done in one place, then the devotees left, and I went and sat there. I get infected. Like COVID, you know, how people got affected. There was a bed, they said hospital bed, someone went, he had corona, next person came, he got it, just by being there. So bhakti doesn't leave the akash, the ether. It's eternally there. So then another person comes, he may get like that. So when we come in contact with spiritual nature, through prasad, through kirtan, through a devotee, through a book, then some gyan comes, little gyan. And at that time, we start to question the mode because we get some spiritual intelligence. I told you that the intelligence is lower when it doesn't have strength, it comes under the mind. But if we get some knowledge, some spiritual energy, intelligence wakes up and then starts to question, what is this world? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? Is this really enjoyment? Why aren't I happy? Questions start. So this is called Brahma Jigyasa, beginning of spiritual life. If we pursue it, it will take us out of this material world. But society teaches, oh, forget it, don't go back to your life, don't think about these things. Everyone will tell you. But generally speaking, this is the beginning of spiritual life. And that Gyan then tells us to awaken to a higher nature, and we start to search after that, a deeper meaning of life. This is very rare. How many people are seeking perfection? Those who are doing that, they are defined as yogis. We have Bhogi, then the yogi. The Bhogi is enjoying this world. The yogi is seeking to come to a spiritual platform. These are classifications. There are different forms of yogis. They are all trying to come out in different ways. Okay, as we mentioned, now today nothing. No one is teaching that. We will not learn about it, neither is anyone discussing. But these are higher principles. One among thousands, it says here in Bhagavad Gita in one verse, Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kashchid mam dveti tatvatah. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who achieve perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Krishna is saying this. How many people, see how many students are in VIT and how many are here? We shouldn't be surprised. This material world is for people to escape Krishna. They came for that only. And people generally are not going to seek. So Krishna is saying among thousands. Now, that was before. That was when Krishna spoke 5,000 years ago. We can change it. Manushyanam koti, not sahasra. I put here lakhs. One among hundreds of thousands will endeavor now. Not even thousands. So hardly anyone will begin to seek out. But if they do, normally they got some gyan somewhere, some contact with spiritual energy, or past life. In the past life also, we may have come to a point such that Krishna guides us to an association of devotees, to take up where we left. Because as long as we are not finished, Krishna will help us to come back. Srila Prabhupada said, we take one step to Krishna, He will take 100 steps to us. We desire to be liberated, He will reorganize our life, empower us, bring people into our life and change it to be liberated, if we desire it. If there's no desire, He will not interfere. But if the desire is there, then He will do it. As we mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, it's difficult to come out of the modes of nature. Difficult because we've been infected for many, many births, millions of years. We are taking birth, doing these things, trying to enjoy this world. So we are in the grip of this Triguna. Now how to let go? How to stop material desires? That's all we know. What else? We don't know any other life. So it is possible. It's possible in one Bhagavad Gita commentary by our acharyas in the purports. I always try to put quotes what I say. So he said, one of our acharyas said, through higher taste and intellectual conviction, one can come out of this grip of the modes of material nature. This statement I read in this book, which is a book which is synthesizing the previous acharya's commentaries on Gita in our Sampradaya, and took out. So here, overcoming the modes of nature. One is higher taste, other is intellectual conviction. Why higher taste? You see, we are jivas. What is the nature of the jiva? The nature of the jiva is anandamaya bhyasa, to always be happy. But we have a problem that Maya covered our happiness. Maya covered our Sat, Chit and Anand. Eternality, happiness and knowledge has been covered. Now we don't have happiness, we don't have knowledge, we don't have eternality, we are in the cycle of birth and death. So we are looking for that happiness. In ignorance, we have come to look for it in this material world, unaware of higher forms of happiness and life, out of ignorance. So we are simply seeking happiness, and we have come here. And not knowing anything better, we got absorbed in this material world. But this material world, the trick about Maya is that to trick you that you're enjoying, but you're not enjoying. That sounds strange. Huh? Have you heard of something like that? That is I mentioned, when we are intoxicated, this is the same thing that happens. You think you're happy, you're not happy. Everyone is saying around, hey, you're not happy. Go home. You're lying on the floor. Get up, go home. No, I'm happy. You're not happy. So we are thinking, I'm happy in this material world. I'm happy. I'm doing this. I have this. I have this much papers, money, this metal. I call it my car, my house. I'm so happy. You're not happy. This is not happiness. So not knowing better, this is what we do. Srila Prabhupada's guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the pictures are there, the parampara in our altar. He mentioned about this material world. He mentioned one concept I think many of you won't be familiar with. A long time ago, toilets were not like now in the house. They were outside. In the village, they just dig a deep hole, everyone will pass stool in it. After some time, they'll cover that hole, dig it somewhere else. Stool pit. Later, they got that's what we call the Indian toilet. But before that was not in the house. Because it actually contaminates the whole house. It was far away. So, he said this material world is compared to a stool pit. The place where people pass stool, in that hole. If you look in, why should you look in? And be careful, don't fall in. Sometimes people fall in. Because what happens? They pass stool, it becomes liquid around. And people just fall in and drown. So he said that is this material world. He said it's not a sane place for a gentleman. For a gentleman, somebody with higher principles, this is not a place. The material world. But we cannot know that until we experience the higher taste. We're talking about higher taste. I'm looking for a taste. Someone gave me that. Okay, it's okay. Then I got something else. No, have this milkshake. It's tasty. Okay, take this. No, I don't want it. I like this. I got a higher taste. Something more tasty. When we experience spiritual life, we got a higher taste. And then we don't want these things. We don't want these lower things. So this is called higher taste. How to come out of the modes of nature? You have to experience a higher taste. Experience spiritual bliss in different ways. So he says, and how do you do that? Simply by engaging in bhakti, we get the rasa, the taste. When the taste comes, we come after it. Sometimes when sugar is dropped on the ground, you see ants are coming. They're coming and they'll risk everything for that sugar. Rain, sometimes red ants come, black ants, they fight. They got the taste for that sugar, you can't stop them, they'll come after it. You try to steal the bag, put some, Lakshman Rekha sometime, whatever you do, they'll come after it. They got the taste. So, if we get the taste for spiritual life, then we'll come for it. We are talking about how to come out of this Bhogi mentality. We have to experience Sat, reality, then the illusory inferior energies, we can turn away from them. Basically, we have to experience Krishna. What is Sat? Krishna. We have to experience God, experience Krishna, perceive Him, and then we'll understand, this is what I'm missing. Even if we don't, sometimes people ask us, have you seen Krishna? Have you come in contact with God? I say, no, we are not so advanced. But just like when the sun is rising, before you see the sun, you see the rays. And that's enough to light up the whole sky. Sunrise, 6:17 in the morning, yesterday. But 6:15, so much light. So I didn't see Krishna, but we are seeing the rays, we are perceiving. We perceive God. In Bhagavad Gita, in Kirtan, we are perceiving God. Maybe not in the beginning. If you do it again, then you start to feel presence, something is different. So, we have to experience such reality. If we don't, we'll be bound up by this artificial, illusory pleasures. Experience Krishna. But how can we do it? How can you experience God? Because Krishna won't come to you till you surrender. But I won't surrender till I see Krishna. Krishna says, if you surrender to me, then I'll come, I'll remove your sin. But my problem is I can't surrender. And Krishna is spiritual and I am in material consciousness. A person in material consciousness cannot perceive spiritual things. So those who are struggling to overcome this Triguna, if someone made a decision, okay, I'm a Bhogi, but I don't like this. I want to come out. I want to be a yogi. But I don't have the strength. So many births I'm in this material world. And I'm in this material world now. How can I come out? I have the desire, but I cannot do it. 5,000 years ago, there is a rishi called Shukadev Goswami. Shukadev Goswami is the son of Vyasadeva. He spoke a literature, he spoke some knowledge which came to be known as Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is translated as beautiful science of God, something like that. Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken to, who was it spoken to? Shukadev Goswami? To Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is grandson of Arjuna. He was ruling this planet. After Pandavas left, they left him in charge. He was also a great devotee. While he was in the womb, he saw the form directly Krishna. And because what happened was, because he was a descendant of the Pandavas, a Brahmastra was launched to kill him. Only him. Now these nuclear bombs kills everything. But before, they'll direct where they want to. When that happened, Krishna personally entered the womb and went around him so fast that nothing could come and touch him. Therefore, when he was born, he was known as Parikshit. There's a reason for that. Because when he was born, he spent his whole life looking, where is that person? Where is that person? Are you that person? Are you that person? Pariksha. He was testing everyone. You, who is that person? Who did I see? I was in the womb. I saw a effulgent person. That was Krishna. He was a great devotee. He was cursed to be killed in 7 days. So he could have counteracted the curse, but he understood that the supreme sanction of everything is Krishna. So he sanctioned this, he allowed it. So let it happen. But he was very careful about one point. He said, I'm going to leave my body, I'm going to die. Let me do it in a proper way. So he went to the rishis. Please tell me all the knowledge I need to know before death. What is it that I need to know? Nowadays we call knowledge education, what we study in college. But according to the Vedas, that's not education. Education is knowledge of matter, spirit, soul, the body, reality, illusion. This distinction, that is known as knowledge, Gyan. Now we are calling PhD, MS, MTech, we are calling this as education. This is not education. It cannot save you. So he wanted that knowledge. So he went to these sages and they were all thinking, what shall we do? Who should instruct him? Then Shukadev Goswami came. You instruct him. They could understand he's advanced. From the physiognomy, study of his body, they could understand that he's advanced devotee. So he spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the knowledge we need to know before we die. All the knowledge we need to get perfection. In 7 days. At the end of that, Parikshit Maharaj he died in perfection, having attained perfection. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is a great text. It is known as Guhya, very confidential. So confidential, people don't know about it. Even that Shukadev Goswami is son of Vyas, who people are surprised. Oh, Vyas had a son. Sometimes when I speak, people get bewildered. But Srimad Bhagavatam was written after all the Vedas. All the Vedas were written. Then Vyas, he reached maturity because his guru, Narad, told him, now you compile Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyas. He compiled it, taught it to his son, Shukadev Goswami. So, Srimad Bhagavatam actually is eternal. Vedas are eternal, but it can appear and disappear. Now remember our topic is how to come out of the modes when they're so difficult and we have been in them for so many lives, so many millions of years. We don't want to be Bhogi. We don't want to come under these modes. We want to rise to a spiritual platform and be under Krishna's spiritual energy, experience real happiness, real peace, real consciousness, proper consciousness. So, Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken for this purpose. It was spoken to help the jivas of this Kali Yuga cross over this ocean of material suffering, these modes, these material desires. It is very powerful. The Bhagavatam that we got now is not what Shukadev spoke to Parikshit. When Shukadev spoke to Parikshit, someone else was sitting there. His name was? Who spoke it again? Suta Goswami. Some of you know, so I'm asking. But of course, some are new. You won't know what I'm speaking about. Shukadev Goswami spoke to Parikshit. Seated in the assembly was Suta Goswami. So, years later, after Krishna left, Parikshit Maharaj left. Now Kali Yuga had started in full force. All the rishis of the world came together. That time Vedic culture was the whole world, not only India. So sages came from whole world. They discussed, Kali is coming, people are finished, everything will go, everything will be deteriorated. Where will the jivas go for shelter? They were thinking, they were discussing. Then Suta Goswami was there. They told Suta, you were there when Bhagavatam was spoken. Yes, please speak it again for us. So then Suta Goswami spoke, and that is the Bhagavatam we got. But when he spoke, he put his own realization also. Before starting to speak Bhagavatam, he chanted one verse. This is a famous verse. This comes in the chapter 1 of Gita of Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2, text 3. Yasvanubhavam akhila shuddhi saramekam adhyatma deepam atititishatam tamondham samsarinam karunayaha purana guhyam tam vyasa sunum upayami guru muninam. Translation. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto him, Shuka, the spiritual master of all sages, the son of Vyas, who out of great compassion for the gross materialist who struggle to cross over the darkest region of material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge after having personally assimilated it by experience. Very long sentence. In English they'll say you should break a sentence with full stops. But Sanskrit is such a language, you can go on and on and on. But then when we translate, it's like this. Cannot make sense. So, now this is saying, Suta Goswami is saying, he was about to speak Bhagavatam. He said, first I'll offer my obeisance to Shuka, who spoke this knowledge. Now the part why I'm mentioning all this is the underlying part here. How can the jivas of Kali Yuga come out of the enjoying mentality and attraction to material energy? Through Bhagavatam. He spoke it for the gross materialist. Atititir shatam in Sanskrit means suffering, people who are suffering. Tamo andham, blinded by ignorance. They are so much in tamogun. When we do sense gratification more, our knowledge gets covered. What knowledge? Knowledge that I am a soul, that there is a God, and there is something beyond this material world. The more we do sense gratification, the more we cannot understand that. We become covered and we cannot accept, or we have a problem of faith. And those who are more pious can easily get that faith and understanding. So now in Kali, the problem is this tamogun, tamo andham. We have been blinded so much by sense gratification. Whole life is sense gratification. From birth they taught. So now, unable to see anything, it's very difficult to come out of this material energy. But Shukadev Goswami, Sutta is saying, he spoke this knowledge. What is it? Akhila Shruti Saram, the first line. Akhila Shruti Sar. Akhil means everything. Shruti, Veda. It is the best essence of all the Vedas. We don't have to read all the Vedas. Read Srimad Bhagavatam. Akhila Shruti Sar, the essence of all the Vedas. Here the word is cream. The cream. When you churn the milk, the cream comes, the butter. That is the essence of the milk. So he spoke it and he says, Guhyam, Purana Guhyam. People don't know Bhagavatam. It's hidden. If we are very fortunate we come across it, we read it and it benefits us. So, He spoke this most confidential knowledge. Bhagavatam is not meant to come now to us of Kali Yuga, but out of His great compassion it came. Now it's available. So Bhagavatam is for the suffering soul. It's like a light to help cross this ocean of material suffering. Adhyatma Deepam. When it's dark, we can't see anything. When we light a deep, of course now you put on the tube light. But in Shastra, there was no electricity that time. They were using lamps. Adhyatma Deepam. Transcendental light to light up. Who am I? What is this world? Why was I born? Who is God? Immediately we come to knowledge. Not only that we are reading knowledge, but Srimad Bhagavatam has a powerful presence, spiritual presence. It is an incarnation of God. So by reading, we get purified, plus that we get this knowledge. And it will bring us back to our original spiritual position. How? By becoming devotees, by beginning to practice devotional service, bhakti. It comes down to consciousness. What is my consciousness? According to my consciousness, I live in this world thinking, how to enjoy? What will I enjoy next? Let me enjoy this. Let me enjoy that. This is the consciousness of a Bhogi. Opposite, a yogi. Bhakti yogi. He's living, consciousness is different. Consciousness is, how am I going to serve Krishna? How can I propagate this movement? How can I save the suffering souls? How can I spread Bhagavad Gita? That is a different consciousness. It comes down to consciousness. Consciousness has to be changed. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, who is propagating this movement, he named it International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are targeting the consciousness. We are not looking at mind, intelligence. Because you change your consciousness, everything is sorted out. Now the consciousness is wrong. Material. It has to be spiritualized. So, but that we cannot do unless we have knowledge. We are convinced. I showed a slide. Higher taste. Second way to come out of the modes, intellectual conviction. What does this mean? Conviction comes from the word convinced. You have to be convinced. What is separating us from fully surrendering to God or maintaining, no, I'll not believe fully, I'll not chant for that many rounds or whatever. We are not convinced fully. One who is fully convinced, he'll take it. Intellectual means your intelligence has to be convinced this is the path. So you need a super literature which can in detail convince you. Bhagavad Gita is known as the preliminary study of the Bhagavad, but Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken for Kali Yuga, for us to read, study, absorb, and gradually come out of this Maya, illusory energy, by giving up the material desires. Instead, not that we won't have any desire, we'll have spiritual desires. I desire to serve God. I desire to propagate Bhagavad Gita. I desire to glorify Krishna. These desires come instead of material desires. So Srila Prabhupada went to America. Actually, Sunday was the anniversary when Srila Prabhupada arrived in America in 1966. Almost 70 years ago. What did he go with? He went with 40 rupees and Srimad Bhagavatam. 40 rupees you cannot spend in America. You can say he went with no money, but he went with a box full of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was confident. Before arriving in America, he wrote a bhajan, a poem. And he said, Dear Krishna, I don't understand why you brought me here, but you may have some purpose. Because actually his guru ordered him to go, to spread Bhagavad Dharma. So he went and he said, these people are so covered by ignorance, I don't know how they listen to me. They're so much addicted to intoxication, illicit sex, drugs, meat eating. How can they understand any knowledge? But he said, no, but I'm confident that Srimad Bhagavatam will change them. He just, that trunk full of Bhagavatam he went, it set a fire which is still burning and spreading. He changed the people. Shockingly, he changed them so much Not only they became yogis, but they became gurus and they propagated the movement. Even though they were completely a different character. So the power of Srimad Bhagavatam is there because it is a literary incarnation of Krishna. Within this bhajan, Srila Prabhupada wrote, he put one series of verses. And it's a series of verses which explains what is the effect of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Or what is the effect of hearing Bhagavatam. It's a very important part. It's repeated in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, text 1. Prabhupada writing the purport. He puts again those verses. He quotes them many times, so they're very important. Now I'm going to read the verses quite long, but it's Bhagavatam 1 to 17 to 21. Okay, so Prabhupada writes in this is the translation of those verses within Bhagavatam. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literature or to hear from him directly through Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam is a righteous activity. For one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as the best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from Bhagavatam and from devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of Rajagun, passion, and ignorance, Tamagun. Thus, material lust and avarice are diminished. This is the heart of our topic today. How to come from Bhogi to Bhakta. I wanted to say Bhogi to Yogi, but among yogis, the highest yogi is the Bhakta. How can we change our consciousness, which is so much absorbed in this material world, to become a devotee? And we may think impossible. How can it happen? I know who I am. This is not going to happen. But if it happened there, it will happen here. It can happen in America. It can happen anywhere. We have devotees now in Africa, all over the world, who are very fixed in bhakti. So how does it happen? Through the power of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, by reading, hearing, meditating, destroys tamogun, rajagun. It destroys this impelling guna, which is pushing us to sin. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in the position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. When the lower modes disappear, what happens? First of all, we become very happy. Because the more tamagun, rajagun we have, we are depressed, we are in anxiety, we are so disturbed, we are worried. What is the symptom mode of goodness? Happy. Very happy, free from anxiety. So, when the guna goes, we become happy. And not only that, but we begin to understand God and the Vedic text. We are reading Gita, Bhagavatam, everything is understood. Otherwise we can't understand. Our spiritual intelligence is awakened. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asanshayam Samagram, understanding Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead. This is very deep. I spoke in a few minutes. You need to study it 1 hour. Just look and read again. But the point here is, it starts a chain reaction which destroys our guna, awakens our bhakti, gives us knowledge who we are, who is God, by the Bhagavad Purana. And then the knot is broken. I spoke about a knot, how we are tied to this material world. We are bound up by these gunas. That's why we cannot get liberation. It's forcing us. But this will remove that knot. Simply by hearing Bhagavatam. We may not accept, because how is it possible that by reading? But this is not a book. Bhagavatam is not a book. Bhagavatam is Krishna. But it's come in the form of a book. And the knowledge that we'll read and get. Okay, so now after hearing Bhagavatam, I'm going to put one verse. Look how the sages reacted after they heard Bhagavatam. In the middle of Bhagavatam, one verse comes. Vayam tu na vitripyama uttama shloka vikrami yachrinvantam rasagyanam swadu sadhu padepadi. We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationship with Him relish hearing His pastimes at every moment. Actually, to understand this, we have to know Sanskrit. Vitripyama, we are never satisfied. we want to hear more and more about Uttama Shloka, that is Krishna. Yet Shrinvantam, whoever hears, hearing means reading also. Rasa Jnanam, rasa means the taste, we get a rasa. Swadu, swadu, pade pade. Swad means we are enjoying a taste, a bliss in life in every step. So they said this. The word rasa is mentioned. Rasa, acquiring rasa. Anything we do, there's a taste, a rasa. Material life has a rasa, that's why we do. Some people like to go swimming, why? They're getting rasa. Some want to play golf, they're getting rasa from that. Some will just roam around the town with their friends, going shop to shop, that is also they're getting rasa. But these are material rasas, they'll not satisfy. The real rasa is bhakti rasa. This rasa will satisfy the soul, because soul is spiritual, the rasa is spiritual. Material rasa won't satisfy. We may conclude this now. If not, we'll take many births, then we'll come to the point to understand, no, I'm not getting anything. So, the rasa is what we have to get, this rasa, this spiritual taste. When we get the spiritual taste, then we can give up the material taste. Nothing big change will happen. You'll continue your life how you're doing now, but you'll be in a different mood, different consciousness. This is the promise, guarantee for Srimad Bhagavatam. For Bhagavat, for a Bhakta, his happiness is different, it's deeper. So, last verse, Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamokad amrita dravasamyutam pibata bhagatam rasamalaya muraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. Vyasa Devi is saying, oh expert and thoughtful men, he is referring to the expert and thoughtful men who are intelligence in society. Relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire of Vedic literature. It emanated from the lips of Shukadev. Therefore this fruit has become even more tasteful, although the nectarian juice was already relishable for all. So he's saying, actually this rasa was so nice, Bhagavatam, but Shuka spoke it, it became more sweet. Now he's telling all of us, instead of going for the pleasures of this material world, enter into the Bhagavat, become a Bhagavat, become a Bhakta. Read these texts. Gradually, one should study the small books, then read Science of Self-Realization, read Bhagavad Gita, read a few books, prepare yourself, then read Srimad Bhagavatam. In our life, we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam to get perfection, as Parikshit Maharaj did. You have to plan it. Everything we plan, isn't it? Now you're planning your degree. You took out 3 years, 4 years. So you have to plan it. Okay? Read daily, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, whatever you can. Chant Hare Krishna. Attend the programs. Sleep early, wake up early, and become a Bhakta. Don't be a Bhogi. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes. 1 second, Aditya, can you start arranging, bringing things because of time, to save time? Yeah.
I believe Rupa Goswami, he told if someone constantly thinks about serving Krishna, he won't get affected by the modes of material nature. For example, if someone thinks about serving Krishna, but he eats food which is rajasic or tamasic, or if it has aninkatic, will he still be able to overcome the modes of material?
You see, a liberated devotee, you're talking about someone fully liberated. Maya cannot touch them. Actually, they can eat and do anything. But they won't do it out of love, because we love Krishna. We cook something, Krishna, you have it first. Okay, then it's the prasad, and they'll not want to do that. But if they do, they'll not be affected. A fully pure devotee is not affected by sleep, doesn't need food, because he's not on a material platform. He's on a spiritual platform. There is no need for material necessities. So he'll not be affected, yes. But we are far from that. We should follow. Okay, any other question? Yes. Yeah, that Shukadev Goswami is a parrot. Yeah, if we go in some of the older Puranas and texts, We understand that Shukra is actually a parrot of Radharani, who heard Bhagavatam from Lord Shiva when he was speaking to Parvati. And then there's some Leela, how he flew away, and then Shiva chased him with a Trishul. Then he entered into the womb of Vyasa's wife. That's true. Okay. So how many people are buying Srimad Bhagavatam today? You have to plan. Start reading. This is your education. This is not education. This is for your, like, for working, survive, you can, what you're learning in the college. But education is this. Don't miss it. Use your human life properly. You have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, how to get out of this Rajagun and Tamasigun quickly, like if we are in a day, like I want to just jump into Sattvic.
Okay, sometimes you get attacked, Rajagun, Tamagun's attacking. And now if you have knowledge of guna, you can understand, my God, I got attacked. That means either we ate something very contaminated or we are associated with people like that. Okay, so I heard once from one person, if you shout Mahamantra immediately, Krishna, like that, Hare Krishna. Immediately it's a powerful boost, that's one. Another one is, go and sit with the devotees. Ramanujacharya said, if you can't chant, if you can't read, if you can't do anything, just go and sit with the devotees. They will carry you to Vaikuntha. You're welcome to come. Okay, but you can read, all of you can chant. Okay, that's the answer. One is associated devotees, immediately leave that place, leave that. Other is, you can even take out your japa and start. Actually the most powerful is you simply start doing kirtan loudly. They may not allow in your college. Okay? Hare Krishna. Last, now one announcement, very important. We've heard about this. How many of you are coming? This, we have to book the room. We mentioned to you, some of you said you're coming, some of you. So, this is a retreat we are having during Diwali time, 17 to 26 October. Of course, for you, this is off, this period. We'll go to Sri Rangam, temple visit, Kaveri Snan, see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's visit there, Ranganath Swami Darshan, and talks on Mahaprabhu's visit. Then ISKCON Salem, it will be Kartik, offering of Deepdan, video show. We'll be celebrating Govardhan Puja festival there, as well as Diwali and Srila Prabhupada's disappearance. 3 major festivals are coming. Okay? So, some of you are thinking, now you can finalize, because the guest rooms will be booked in Salem. We want to book the rooms. Okay. So please give your names to Aditya or anyone else. Okay, can do it today. Okay, Hare Krishna, we'll end here. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki